Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bill Levinson, managing partner with Levinson and Associates. With me today, we have the Joseph Loughran, our marketing vice president, and then we have our special guest speaker that is joining us today that's going to talk about a new standalone long-term care policy that has some real neat features. We're going to talk about some sales tools to help you get your foot in the door and make some more long-term care sales. You know, it's been like a rumor and a myth in the industry, and we've all seen some products and even carriers go by the wayside in this part of the industry. And what Mark is going to talk about today, I really feel that most of our agents out there can take full advantage of this product. They have some neat stuff. Mark Lichtman from NGL is a chief sales officer there. He has some great experience in the LTC field, and you know, it's just we hear from agents almost every day, especially a few years back when everything happened with Genworth and, you know, rates skyrocketed and products went away. You know, we hear such a black eye in the industry about long-term care. So what we did is we wanted Mark to come out and talk all about NGL and this product and show and prove to our agents that, you know, not only is long-term care back, but we have the best standalone product today, and you don't have to worry about, you know, carriers going away anymore and ratings going down and premiums skyrocketing. He has some great solutions. So take out a pen and paper, jot down notes, questions, comments. We want to hear all feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. Now, you know, it's important that even if you've never sold an LTC policy, if you're newer to the industry, you've probably heard mainly about life insurance with long-term care riders. So I feel that I don't care what part of the industry you're from, how long you've been in the life insurance space, everybody is going to walk away with some knowledge today, and there is going to be a fit for almost every client situation where the need comes up, which is most of the time regardless. So everybody, please pay attention. We have great stuff to share. November is also LTC Awareness Month, so that's another reason why we wanted to feature Mark and his team today. And again, most important, they seriously are in a whole different level when it comes to standalone long-term care, which we just don't hear about anymore. So great stuff to come. Let's move forward, Joe. So we're very excited about this. iPipeline is the leader in the technology space in our industry. And, you know, I'm talking about life insurance, long-term care, annuities, hybrids, link products, you name it. iPipeline is the leader. A lot of people say they have a monopoly in this space. Whatever it is, nobody comes close. So iPipeline makes up our quoting engine, website, all of the e-apps, drop tickets, e-policy delivery with most of the big carriers that are in the insurance space today. And they featured me and Levinson and Associates on their episode number 12, talking all about the industry today and how it's changed over the past 2 decades. And the most important part of the whole podcast, in my opinion, is the interesting choices consumers have in purchasing insurance these days by using the internet. So we talk all about MLMs and pyramids and, you know, how insurance has changed and basically everything you need to know. So we're very proud of this. We thank iPipeline for choosing us. We're also going to be speaking at their annual Connections meeting with over 1,000 vendors, agents, and BGAs. Basically, everyone who's anyone in the space will be at their Vegas Connections meeting, and they invited us to speak. So we're very proud. I encourage you to listen to the podcast. It is awesome. It's also available on our website as well, so you can check it out, and on our YouTube channel. And then this leads me to the next part. We're actually starting our own podcast, The Bill Levinson Experience, the end of this month or early December. We're going to have our first official episode. We're going to pick different vendors, successful agents. We're going to talk all about succeeding in our industry by utilizing the latest lead programs, tools, technology. And then our first guest speaker is actually a top Forbes 500 businessman that has actually nothing to do with insurance, but the man is a genius. He just got the Cleveland Clinic Man of the Year award. His name is Jeffrey Levitetz. He is awesome, happens to be my mentor for the past 20 plus years. So he's going to be our first guest speaker. So keep your eyes peeled for the Bill Levinson experience. Again, very excited about this. Okay, moving forward here, and by the way, you'll see some future announcements on the Levinson podcast. So you don't have to write down anything quite yet, but we'll definitely be talking about it in the next 4 to 6 weeks here. Okay, the top closer contest real quick. So all life, annuity, long-term care, supplemental product premium counts towards the contest. And basically, we wanted to create something unique. And we wanted to create a level playing field for all of our agents. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're MDRT, top of the table, or you just started with us 2 weeks ago. It doesn't make a difference, and I'll tell you the reason why. So starting October 15th, everyone started equal at 0. And basically, it's like a running race. Whoever ends with the most premium, all premium counts, whoever ends with the most premium by December 31st, this year, okay, so top closer contest, it's first place, all expense paid trip to our expo, and we'll fly you and your spouse from anywhere in the country, pay for a weekend stay at our beachfront resort. We'll take care of meals, massages, gift cards. It's a nice package. If you're a local agent, if you're local to South Florida, we will give you the equivalent in a American Express gift card. So that's first place. Second place is a $500 gift voucher, or we'll just give you a check, whatever it is. That's second place. Third place is the new Apple iWatch, which will come pre-downloaded with the Levinson app. Okay, so very, very cool stuff. We're going to announce the winners at our expo. So that's the top closer contest. Now, above and beyond the top closer, we also have the expo qualifications all coming up right now. So it's free to everybody, as you know, starting at $40,000 of premium. Okay, we will fly you in from anywhere around the country, pay for a free night stay at our beachfront resort, and then $50,000 is a full weekend stay, round trip airfare, plus all of, or I should say most of the carriers, almost all of the carriers right now have their own little top closer contest of 2018. So starting at $25 an app, going up to like $200-300 an app. We have cash contests going on. We have trips literally all around the world. We have on the annuity side, there's nice bonuses, the Kick Assets contest. So there's a bunch of carrier incentives going on right now. In fact, more than what we've ever seen. To make this easy, we put together an incentives folder on our website, so you can check that out and look at the carrier that you're writing with, and of course, you will see whatever incentives they have going on. But I have never seen anything like this in my 22 years of being in the business. So the carriers are hungry for our business, so let's take full advantage and write as much as we can. Okay, this is a neat article that I put together, top ways to generate leads by using the latest technology, social media, driving traffic to your website. Really, really cool article. And again, this caters to everyone. I don't care if you're 17 or you're 77. Everybody will walk away with some great nuggets of information on our top ways to generate leads white paper. We will email out a thank you email to everyone on today's webinar. We'll include this white paper so everybody can print it and check it out. But it's a great way to learn about some of the new tools that are available to us to get your name out there and start driving traffic to your website, social media pages. We have lead generation pages and links. Really, really cool stuff. I encourage everyone to take a peek. Okay, moving forward. So we're talking all about LTC today, living benefit riders as well. We all know the new type of life insurance pays while you're still alive, right? The old kind of life insurance, the insured never saw anything, but obviously he or she had peace of mind that their spouse was taken care of. Well, the new kind of life insurance has that component, okay? Plus, the insured can also get paid or benefit while he or she is still alive. With all of our living benefit riders, long-term care policies, riders, hybrids, so really, really neat stuff. So to simplify everything for you, we have a section on our website that just says LTC hybrids, living benefits, and we made everything very black and white for you. In front of you are all of our life insurance plans with long-term care riders. You can take a look. All of the carriers are listed on the right side. Now, keep one thing in mind. About half of these companies include our free scholarship program. So again, another added living benefit, if you will, right? The new kind of life insurance. But what's really neat about this, if you already have a contract with any of those carriers that you're looking at in front of you, take advantage of the cash for contracting incentive. And what's neat about this is we will match, or most of the time beat, your existing grid, plus we pay you $100 to $400 cash with your first application. Okay, so that's a win-win. There's no skin off your back. Plus, you get all of our free tools and website and CRM tools and everything else that we offer. So now is the time to get set up and run with this stuff. Nobody has a value add platform like Levinson and Associates, as you know by now. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So real quick, again, moving forward on our website, making things very easy in black and white for our agents. We have a special long-term care section, which will include everything that we're going over today. If you go to kerrylevinson.com and you hover over long-term care, you see that little blue box in the top center area there. That literally you can change with your mouse. That will highlight long-term care. Click there, and then it'll say LTC, and all of those options are available for you to start marketing to your prospects or your existing book of business. We have marketing pieces, consumer emails, we have agent training emails. We can co-brand most of this stuff for you. So some really, really neat stuff to help get the word out there, and most important, help you brand yourself with your business card and picture of you on all of this material. Okay, so real quick, moving forward, it is LTC Awareness Month. That's November, so we put together some neat stuff with a of ours, some real neat customer story videos. Now, these are great. They tug on heartstrings. If you have an opportunity to show these to your clients, everybody's going to say, hey, you know what? I need a LTC quote. So if you're interested in any of this, you'll see it on the LTC resources page, or just let us know. We'll include the link in today's thank you email. Okay, so moving forward, hybrid link benefits is a hot topic right now as well. So what we did is we have another section called link benefits, same thing. If you run your cursor over link benefits, it will highlight bottom left corner. We have Lincoln, Minnesota Life, and One America with those link benefit products, which is a hybrid life and long-term care built in. Now, obviously, a standalone LTC is the best as it gets, which that's about what you're going to listen to in just a few more minutes. But again, these are some other options for you, and we make everything very easy on our website. And if you have any questions, please call any of our marketers. Everybody is equipped to help you. Josh Hoffman is an excellent resource for you, okay? You can depend on Josh anytime if you need quotes, if you have any kind of advanced case design questions. He's a great LTC resource for all of us in the office, in fact. So you can lean on him, or any one of our marketers can run quotes, get any of the NGL info, anything that's needed. Please depend on them. And if we need to, we can always get the reps from NGL involved as well. So just let us know, and we are here to help you and make sure that you are successful in this LTC space. Okay, so without further ado, NGL has literally the top standalone long-term care product. They have some really, really neat tools that will help you get your foot in the door to make the sale, okay? In fact, I've never seen anything quite like what NGL has to offer. So with that said, I'm going to introduce Mark Glickman, our CSO with National Guardian Life. Mark, you there?
Yes, I am. Thanks so much. That was a great introduction as always. I just want to talk to you today about Live, Die, Quit. And when we think about that, we think about life insurance long-term care solutions. Well, today we're going to be talking about traditional long-term care that you can present in a very similar way to what you're doing on the asset-based side. So just first, a brief introduction. My name is Mark Glickman. As Bill mentioned, I'm Chief Sales Officer. I represent the NGL long-term care product for life care assurance. And we have with us today Director of Sales, Michael Maklovitz. And the reason I asked him to come on the call today is he has over 20 years of experience in your shoes. He was a personal producer, a long-term care specialist. He partnered with other financial professionals. He's been a wholesaler for a number of different leading companies in the long-term care space. So rather than just telling you about what the product is, we'd rather tell you about what it does, some sales ideas, how you can use it, and in particular, some new concepts for many of you out there that think, traditional long-term care, that's in the past. Well, we're bringing it forward here. So let's talk first about the topic and a little bit about the product, and then I'm going to open it up for Michael. I like to point out that traditional long-term care can be what you want it to be today, meaning that we have features on the product that allow you to do the same types of things that you would do with a long-term care rider. For example, if you build a plan that has a single premium, you create a guaranteed premium traditional product. So for those of you out there who think, oh, you can't have a guaranteed premium on a traditional product, we want to change your mindset about that a little bit. For example, lifetime benefits. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you can't get lifetime benefits anymore on a traditional product. Not anymore. We're working with NGL. We brought back the ability to add lifetime benefits. In fact, all of the features that you see here on the screen, you can use in different combinations, and it will lead you to new sales ideas that are very popular out there with clients today. A couple that I'm going to just point out, and then Michael's going to deep dive into them a little bit more. If you have a business owner, you're allowed to actually write the premium, pay the premium through the business, and in most cases, it's a tax deduction for the business, but the benefits are still received tax-free. We're going to talk today about asset-based long-term care planning and how to use a traditional product in that asset-based world. And you can even do 1035 tax-free exchanges from life insurance or non-qualified annuities. So we're going to talk about some of these topics today, hopefully change your mindset, but just keep in mind, traditional long-term care can be what you want it to be. So today's topic on 1035 exchanges, we're going to talk about first, what is a 1035 exchange? How to identify the money, meaning that clients are looking to figure out how they're going to fund their long-term care plan and to figure out the most tax-efficient way to do that. We're going to talk about how to ask the right questions to identify if you have a good prospect for these solutions, how to actually position that solution with clients, and then finally, we're going to talk about any landmines to avoid, so what you should anticipate as you're going through this process. So with that, I'm going to open it up to Michael, and why don't you go ahead and lead us off on 1035 exchanges.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for that intro. So this is a topic that has really opened a lot of agents' eyes, new opportunities, new sales endeavors. This is something that has been tried and true. It's been out for a long time, and it's called a 1035 exchange, but as it relates to long-term care insurance, back in 2006, something became effective into law, which was written in as the Pension Protection Act, and it became effective in 2010. So this has been out for a long time. It's tried, it's true, it's tested, and basically it says that you can take a non-qualified annuity that a client may own or a life insurance policy that has cash value in it. Now, let me pause for a second. There's a lot of people out there that own these types of policies, annuities, life insurance, and if you ask them why did they buy it years ago, they'll give you a reason. Retirement planning, pay off a mortgage, make sure there's enough money to send kids to school if I'm not here. They'll identify a reason why it was purchased, but if you ask them, do they still have that reason or that need in their lives today, many times you'll find the answer is simply no. My life is different today. I have other resources for retirement. My business did really well. I have other savings, other assets to provide income. I don't need that annuity for income anymore. Or cash value life insurance. Maybe they needed it to cover a mortgage or send kids to school or some financial obligation that maybe the mortgage is paid off now. Maybe they don't have that need anymore. So if you ask your clients, do you still have that need? Many times you might actually hear the response, no, I don't need it for that anymore. So why don't the clients simply cash in those products? They don't cash them in because they don't want to pay tax on the gain. So what this Pension Protection Act did is it says that you can use those products, those annuities or life insurance cash surrender values. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the surrender value of those products. The surrender value is going to be comprised of the original money that the client put into the policy, called the basis or principal. And it's also going to be comprised of the tax-deferred gains that have grown over the years in the contract. And that's one of the reasons why these policies stay on the books, is because people don't necessarily need them, but they don't want to pay tax on the gain. The Pension Protection Act said you can take the surrender value, which is, again, the principal amount they put in, as well as those tax-deferred gains. You can 1035 exchange it for a long-term care policy. For our policy, you can use our policy to pay for benefits for long-term care on a tax-free basis. So what you're really doing when you're doing this 1035 exchange, you're taking a potentially highly taxable asset that the person likely will pass away, and the beneficiaries will take that asset and likely pay tax on it. You're taking a potentially taxable asset and turning it into tax-free money to pay for something that a lot of people unfortunately have in their lives, called long-term care. Let me give you a couple of housekeeping items regarding these 1035 exchanges. The annuity or the life policy must be in a non-qualified format. So if you're working with somebody and they have an IRA and they might have funded their IRA with an annuity, that's not the asset we're talking about here. It needs to be non-qualified money coming over from a life insurance or annuity contract. When it comes over from the originating company, it has to come over in what is called a like-for-like exchange. Same owners, same insureds, the people who are on the original contract need to be the same people on the new long-term care contract. And oftentimes these policies are funded, or the repositioning of the dollars is usually in a lump sum, a single premium. Somebody has an annuity, you take the surrender value, you reposition it, you bring it over into our contract as a 1035 exchange, but you do that as a single premium lump sum transfer. By doing that, it guarantees your clients no future rates on our product and no future rate increase possibilities. It's a great way, if you're doing it as a single premium, to say to your clients, there won't be any future rate increases on this long-term care policy. So where do you find the dollars? Where do dollars come from that most people use to pay for long-term care? Well, there's a whole bunch of different places. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, money markets, savings, CDs. There's a whole bunch of resources that people usually identify when they're looking in a conversation with you, when they're looking for money to pay for their own long-term care. But again, let me call to your attention two assets, specifically the cash value life insurance that somebody might own, and or a non-qualified annuity. If you can identify with a client that they own those assets, let's talk about those assets, Mr. Client. Now, let me kind of pause and suggest something to you. Don't just assume that those assets, even though they're in the client's resources, even though the client owns these assets, don't just assume. You need to ask about your client's assets. You need to ask if they own these annuities and these life insurance products. You need to ask what the goal was and why did they buy these products. But more importantly, you need to ask what is the need today for those currently owned products. If they can identify for you that they don't have a need for those products anymore, then you can kind of green light and you can keep going with your conversation to identify those assets as a potential source of money to reposition without changing the original goal of what those assets were, because that goal is already long and done and over with. So now we're just going to have a conversation with our clients to identify that resource, to reposition it, to pay for something in their future called long-term care. We're going to kind of re-identify the need into a current need by repositioning this asset. We're going to repurpose this asset, if you will. But don't just assume that these assets are available. Understand what your client's needs are. It's very important. Just ask the questions. Why did you buy it? And do you still have that need today? When they identify that they don't have the need today, as a lot of people will, ask them the question, well, why don't you get rid of that asset? Why don't you sell that annuity? Why don't you get rid of it? Let the client express to you that they don't want to pay tax on the gain, because in your conversation of these 1035 exchanges, the tax-free exchange becomes a very key component to them. They know they don't want to cash it in because they don't want to pay the gain. If you have a solution to transfer that asset to something on a tax-free basis, they might actually do it. So ask questions like, do you still need this asset for retirement income, or do you plan to pass your wealth to the next generation? These are really good questions to start a conversation with your client. They're kind of a needs-based type of sale. Do you need these assets? No. If you don't need these assets, why don't we repurpose them for something that you might actually need them for? The questions that you ask will determine whether or not an exchange is likely the outcome. So let's look at a client's portfolio. They might have some investments, stocks, bonds, real estate, whatever. Typically, those investments are designed for income, either current or future income needs. They probably own a house because they have to live somewhere. They might have cash reserves because somebody told them it was a good idea to have money set aside for emergencies and liquidity. And again, there's those resources, the life insurance and the annuity money. And if you ask them, do you need that asset? And they say, no, I don't. Why don't you cash it in? Tax conversation ensues. Would you mind if I suggest a concept that a lot of my clients actually love and end up doing? And that is repositioning and repurposing those assets to create a benefit for you in another endeavor. Now, keep in mind, these assets, there have been many studies that have been done over the years that ask people who currently own cash value life insurance and or non-qualified annuities. There have been many studies, LIMRA studies and other studies, polls and studies that have asked consumers that own these contracts, who own these contracts, do you intend to use it for, and then they give a list of various items. One of the #1 reasons what people put down as the reason they currently own these contracts is to pay for a healthcare change like long-term care. So keep in mind, in your client's mind, they might already be focused on the fact that, you know, my brother-in-law needed long-term care, my dad did, my neighbors did, or whatever. Gosh, what would I do if that happened to me? Oh, good news, I have this annuity. Nobody's necessarily coming to their table to say, hey, you should sell that annuity and buy long-term care insurance. But if you do, you can reposition an asset that in their mind they're already self-insuring with to create a long-term care solution. So here's the concept. In simple, here's what the story looks like. Mr. Client, I'd like to suggest that we reposition an asset that you currently own, but sounds like you don't necessarily need. I'd like to suggest that we repurpose that asset by repositioning it into a product called Essential LTC. It's a long-term care product that's going to do 3 things for your family, Mr. Client. The first is, if you need care, it's going to transfer your money and reposition it into a lot more money to pay for long-term care. We're going to do long-term care better and longer than you're going to be doing it on your own. But because of your great health and your diet and your exercise and your wellness program, Mr. Client, I don't think you'll be the one that's going to need long-term care. In fact, I hope you never do. If that is what the outcome is, then this product is going to turn into a return of premium to your children or your beneficiaries. Whatever dollars we put into this policy, we're going to return to your children if long-term care is never needed. But if you change your mind and you don't want to have this asset anymore and you'd rather take the money to go buy a vacation home or a boat or something else, no questions asked. It's a graded schedule. It starts in the first year and goes up to the 4th year. It's 20%, 40%, 60%, and then in the 4th and every year on, it's 80% of the client's premium returned to the policyholder while the insured is alive as a return of premium through our surrender feature. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a few minutes. So here's kind of the bottom line. You know, Bill talked a little while ago about some hybrid and some linked benefit policies, as they're a hot topic today. We actually should be added to that space because we do offer benefits whether the client lives and needs care, dies and never needs care, or changes their mind and wants their money back. We can give them up to 80% of their money back, no questions asked. You can design our policy with the riders and features. It's kind of the that the way we design this thing to compete on a very high level with all the other stuff that's available today, you can design our policy so that 100% of the time, somebody is going to reap benefit. Oftentimes people don't like insurance because the question ensues, what if? What if I don't have that event? What if I don't use it? What happens to my money? By adding our riders, which I'm going to show you in a minute, you can create a solution for your client to reposition on a 1035 exchange basis an asset that they might not need to create benefits. If they live and need care, there's money. If they die and never need care, there's money. And if they change their mind and want their money back, they can have up to 80% of it. So how do we do this? Well, if the person lives and needs care, long-term care, we are a tax-qualified long-term care insurance policy. As a traditional policy, I believe we're the only carrier in the industry today that offers lifetime unlimited benefits. So imagine that. You could take your client's annuity, transfer it over on a 1035 basis, and buy a policy that has lifetime unlimited benefits. You'll turn a policy that they currently own with a finite amount of money into potentially an infinite amount of money to pay for long-term care. It's a very compelling sales idea to do that. Now, that's if the person lives and needs care. But most of the people that you're going to meet are in their own mind going to say, I'm not going to need long-term care. I'll never need that. I don't even want to buy a product that pays for it because I'll never need long-term care. Great, Mr. Client, I agree with you. Chances are pretty good you won't be the one to need care. And when you don't need care, because we can add a return of premium rider to our policy, what the story then says is when the client says, well, what if I never need care? Mr. Client, I hope you never need care. And when you don't need care, I'll be returning all of the money we put into this policy, all the premium, I'll be returning that to your beneficiaries. So if you need care, there's a benefit. But because I don't think you'll ever need care, I'm just going to be transferring the money that you were otherwise going to transfer your children anyway through this return of premium feature. When you die, Mr. Client, after never needing care, I'm going to be giving them the money anyway also. Or if you change your mind by adding a surrender feature to our contract, it's an optional rider, by adding the surrender feature, it completes the story. If you live and need care, there's a benefit. If you die and never need care, there's a benefit. And the surrender option adds to that and says to the client, like the other linked benefit products in the industry, if you change your mind and you don't want to do this anymore, Mr. Client, no questions asked. If it's after the 4th year, again, it'll be a graded schedule, year 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, 40, 60, and then 80%. After the 4th year, it's 80% thereon. The client can have up to 80% of their money back, no questions asked. It's a great story to create a solution, whether they live and need care, die and never need care, or change their mind and want their money back. I put this little tagline for those of you that can see the screen. What do you do for a living? You might want to use this in case anybody ever says to you, what do you do for a living? What do? You help people plan for the certainty of uncertainty. What does that mean? I have no idea what your clients are going to end up needing. The uncertainty of what's going to happen to them, I don't know what they're going to need, whether they're going to need care, not need care. But here's something that I do know. With certainty, I do know that 100% of everybody you ever will meet will fall into one of two categories. They'll either need care or they won't need care. We have a benefit on our product to provide money in case either one of those two endeavors happen. So what do you really do for your clients? You help them plan for the certainty of uncertainty. If you position it as such, it doesn't become about nursing homes, and it doesn't become about long-term care expenses, and it doesn't become about I have enough money to pay for it. It doesn't become about all that traditional conversational stuff. It positions this product in a way to help your clients understand you're not even really worried about them needing care, but you want to put a safety net underneath the rest of their assets in case they need care. But when they don't need care, no foul, no harm, no question, no problem, Mr. Client. I'm just going to transfer your money to your children on a tax-favored basis. That's what we do with our live, die, quit story by adding these return to premium and surrender riders to our contract. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I've presented this numerous times to consumers and clients and stuff, and I've heard lots of things that people bring up at the point of sale. So if this is a new endeavor for you and you haven't done this yet, I want to alert and caution you to a few things that are possible to come up in the sales process. And if you're prepared for them, it can help you mitigate any potential issues in the future. One issue is, as you bring these concepts up, if you are not the original writing agent of that annuity or life insurance policy, if that client identifies that they're going to be repositioning and transferring and canceling that other policy, it's possible that other agent might get alerted as such. They might resurface again. I've seen scenarios where an agent has been not present for 10, 15 years. All of a sudden they catch wind that their product is getting replaced and they magically resurface again. So I'm going to make a suggestion for you, and I've seen agents do this and it's successful and it works. At the beginning of your presentation, maybe say something like this to your client or your prospect. Mr. Jones, I'm going to show you some things, and I don't know if anybody else has shown these items to you. I don't know if any of your other insurance agents are talking to you about these things, but I'm going to show you a few solutions that most people, when they see them, they kind of latch onto it, and it becomes a really good opportunity for you to do some planning for your financial life. If I show these solutions to you and it resonates and it's something that you in fact want to do and it's something that's meaningful and beneficial to you, is there any reason why we couldn't do business together? I've seen agents put that on the table, and ultimately at the end of the presentation, the client or the prospect kind of, I don't know whether it's they feel guilty about it because you showed it to me, not the other guy, therefore I feel a little obligated to work with you, or whether they just simply say to themselves, you know, yeah, the other guy never showed me this stuff, but you did. So kind of put that on the table so it mitigates the possibility that the other agent is going to surface again, and then the other agent might say something like, well, why don't I just sell that to you? You do all the work, they get the sale. That just doesn't feel right. So I want to alert you and call that to your attention so that you're kind of aware that that other agent might surface. The other thing that I want to kind of identify for you is that when you do these 1035 exchanges, sometimes they can take a little bit of time. There's something in our industry called conservation. If you haven't heard of it, it's a period of time where the sending company, the company that has the money that's sending it to us as a 1035 exchange, they can hold the money for some time, and oftentimes that is a lengthy period. I bring this up because sometimes clients, they get very motivated. They want to do this. They're excited. They see the solution. They're ready to go, and they do it. They sign the applications. They go through the process, and then it takes forever for the money to get transferred. Don't let your client lose sight of the focus of why they're doing this. So stay in touch with them. More importantly, set proper expectations that you're going to be on top of this. Mr. Client, we're going to 1035 exchange this money. We're going to reposition it over into this new product. It's a great solution for you and your family. Just want to let you know it's possible that this might take a little bit of time, but I'm going to stay on top of it. Don't worry, I'm going to keep you updated. I'll be on top of this. It's very important that your clients don't lose sight of what they intend to do. So keep them apprised as to what's going on. I don't know, it's up to you, weekly, daily, whatever period you want to touch base with them, keep them apprised of what's going on. With that said, please know that from my experience and a lot of opportunities that I've had the privilege to work with, I've noticed that clients don't take moving large sums of money lightly. It's their money. They bought something for a reason, and now you're suggesting to move $200,000, $150,000, $300,000, maybe more. They don't take that lightly, especially with somebody that they might have just met. So if you're new to this client and you're suggesting that they move large sums of money, just please know that there's something that I've noticed that successful agents tend to do, and that is they establish trust very early on in the process of their presentation. They establish trust about who they are. Tout yourself a little bit, what you've done and how long you've been doing this and the successes that you've had and the number of people you work with. They want to know that you're real, and they want to know that they can trust you with this large sum of money. All of a sudden you're moving it. They want to know that the product is something they should move it to. We have all the resources available to you to be competent in the field. We can give you specimen contracts, outlines of coverages, writer pages, marketing material. We can arm you with the knowledge of what you're actually showing the client, and we can arm you to show the client certain things, because the questions will arise at the point of sale. Gosh, this is amazing what you're showing me. You mean to tell me that If I need care, they're going to pay me, but if I don't need care, they're going to give the money to my kids. How do they do that? Be prepared for these types of client, I'll call them objections or concerns. So have in your briefcase with you, have our specimen contracts so you can show them in black and white writing how these things work and how the riders work. Have the rider specimen documents in your briefcase. So in case they say, what do you mean they're going to give me my money back? Pull out the surrender rider page and read it to them and show them in black and white writing that this is true and it's really going to happen. And lastly, have some knowledge and have some background about the company that you're going to represent, because this does come up. Who is this company and who am I transferring the money to? So be prepared for these items.
Hey, Michael, can I ask you a question real quick?
Please do.
I know a lot of clients work with financial advisors, especially the high net worth ones, and they might not necessarily see it too fondly that you're taking away some of their AUM, maybe potentially with this, or if they're doing it with cash especially, or maybe you're making a big commission. Can you kind of speak to how to work with the financial advisor, avoid that landmine?
I can, and that is, I say that agents might surface, but I kind of lumped a bunch of people in that category of agents. Sometimes it might be a financial advisor, somebody who has access and manages the money. And if you're aware that there's another person in the mix, and you might want to ask that right up front, who handles your money? Who have you trusted with your money for the years that you have it with them? Do you like them? Do you value theirs? Have they shown you things that help you plan for protecting your retirement dollars? I would get the concepts on the table so that it helps the client understand that that person is, by the way, I'm not suggesting that they all do this, but oftentimes the manager of money is managing the money. They're not looking to protect it because that's how they get paid, oftentimes. Not all the time, but oftentimes. So I might suggest that you, as another advisor coming into the mix, if there is another financial planner or somebody who's managing money, you might want to identify to the client, what are they doing to protect those assets? And let the client express to you things like, what do you mean? Well, it sounds like they're doing a great job of growing money, or at least I hope they're doing a great job of money. What are they doing to protect the money? Oh, they have me in a balanced portfolio, or, they have me in a portfolio that has tiered, asset classes so that it protects against market risk. No, I'm not talking about market risk, Mr. Klein. I'm talking about another type of risk, which is really, really unfortunate, called a healthcare risk. What is your advisor doing to protect your assets against a healthcare risk? I think it's important to get these things on the table, not to show that the other advisor is doing a not good job, but to show that you're looking at this from one perspective, might be different than their perspective, and you both can exist in the client's world. That's a kind of very, I've noticed, a very good way how an advisor who's coming in as a protection model, like long-term care insurance, life insurance, and all that stuff, can work in concert with the money manager, the financial advisor, rather than make it look like, hey, I want to take all your money, or I want that guy to go away. Or it also kind of in the client's mind positions you as another advisor who's looking out for their best interest. The other guy grows the money, you protect the money. Did that answer the question?
Oh yeah, great job.
Good. So we're constantly asked, because these riders, these features, they're very comprehensive, and like the other asset-based products in the industry, people are enamored by the fact that we have all these significant benefits. Gosh, I didn't know you have a return of premium. I didn't know you have a surrender. I didn't know you have lifetime benefits. I didn't know you have all these things. This is fantastic. How do you do that? Because people might remember from the old days about long-term care, the products were not quite as robust in some ways. But in any case, how do we do this? Well, one way we do this is by making sure that we understand the business we're in. And what are we in? We're in the business of insuring people. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to end up with a solution in the future to have excuses or things that we're apologizing for. How do we do this? We prudently underwrite people today so we understand that our blocks of businesses are solid, that they're clean, that we have insureds priced accordingly, that we have people that we didn't just take, well, they have mild Parkinson's. That's going to turn into a long claim at some point in time. We're not guaranteed issue, but we're also not really challenging to get products issued. In fact, our studies show that approximately 90% of all applicants who are eligible for coverage fall within our best two rates, our preferred plus and our preferred rates. We're prudent in our underwriting, and the prudent underwriting model enables us to feel comfortable that we can put riders and features on our product to give these benefits because we understand how to price these things, because we know who we're insuring. We know the likelihood of a claim. We know the likelihood of a death claim, a long-term care claim, the likelihood of an extended claim. How do we know all these things? From many, 30 plus years of underwriting success. With that said, I don't know if you want to open up for questions or if you want to leave it in the end. We're available for questions. That's my spiel for you guys.
Thank you,
Excellent. Thank you. Yep. Thanks so much. Well, what I'm going to do here, this is Joe, run through a couple additional slides here. We will be sending everyone an email this afternoon with all the material that we covered. I've got some questions here about presentation material and things like that. So we will be sending that out this afternoon. You'll also get the link to all the programs and platforms and really kind of how to market these products. So I definitely appreciate that. That was awesome. You guys did a great job. Not only just explaining the product, but really kind of from an agent's perspective, which is really the whole point of these webinars. So real quick here, I've got a couple more slides and we'll wrap up. We do have some upcoming agent training events. Bill mentioned earlier our agency automator platform. Those are listed on the screen. We'll also include those in the thank you email. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 2 p.m. we go over the automator platform, especially now looking at this product, having some great sales concepts. You can reach out to your existing database or new prospects. Again, that automator platform gives you 1,000 new prospects every month to talk to. So you can talk about this product and some of the conversations that now you can have with those clients surrounding some of their LTC options. At the very, very bottom there, very excited about next week. One of our keynote speakers at the 2019 Levinson Annual Expo is Joe Ross. He's going to be talking about a scenario, a sales concept about dying too soon, living too long, or getting sick along the way, and how a particular product can really kind of address those three scenarios. Again, 11:15 at 2 p.m. Eastern. So also a great meeting for everyone if you're in the South Florida area. November 16th, we're having a breakfast meeting in Boca Raton, Florida. We're covering top IUL sales ideas and 4 national underwriting niches and solutions. That's going to be from 9 to noon. If you want to register, give us a call or shoot me an email. We'll get you on the list. Absolutely free for all agents to attend. So definitely make sure that you attend. Also, I mentioned this earlier, the annual expo. This is actually scheduled for May 2019. It's Friday, May 10th, 2019. You can register right on KerryLevinson.com. This is our annual meeting where we talk about the top sales ideas, concepts, really kind of bringing your practice to the next level. This is definitely an event that you do not want to miss. So we'll have our top carriers, top presenters, top underwriters going over everything you need to know to be successful for the rest of this year in 2019. Always we end with our motivational Positive Tuesday quote, and I'll read this one here in lieu of Bill's absence, but I'll read this, and this is also on our Facebook page, Instagram page, all over the KerryLevinson.com website. And then again, everyone will receive an email this afternoon with all the material. So the quote is, close your eyes and imagine where you would be today if you only started 5 years ago. Hashtag today is the day. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the agents jumping on, especially appreciate Mark, Michael, you guys taking the time to be with us today. Any questions, please call the office. Have a great rest of the day, great weekend, and great selling. Take care.